Okay, we are back in the garden for a little miniature update, but I'm going to be doing some planting of some onions, tomatoes, peppers, and it is time to pull these broccoli. It looks like they are ready to bolt on us, so we'll take them out. But I was talking with my wife about this, and it's kind of interesting because these leaves are just ginormous. And anything that's grown in this bed has produced huge foliage like this, but the fruits aren't very large. I grew some broccoli. It was a different variety. It might be the variety that we're having an issue with in these small heads. But in the other bed over there, I grew some broccoli that was twice the size of my head almost. And these are not very large at all, these heads. Still good, we're still gonna eat them, but they just didn't produce like I thought they were going to. So I won't be growing this variety again. The variety I grew, and I'll drop a picture of that ginormous broccoli head in the video right now, but that was a Green Magic, and I can't remember the variety of these. It's very common. You can get the seed packs at basically any store. But sunflowers are doing good. This one has multiple heads on it. That one's open. I'll take you around in a second and show you. There's another little head there. But yeah, so I'm gonna do some onions here. And then this trellis was where the peas are. But I'm waiting for these strawberry runners to root in these pots. So I have total of four pots in here that are catching these little runners, and then I don't know where I'm gonna plant them, maybe give them away, but I didn't want to just cut them back and let them go to waste. Like I said, I want to keep that like a 2x2 little square. And if you're just tuning in, I planted some carrots here and they didn't come up, so I planted out some strawberries, and then strawberries started growing, then the carrots came up, so I've just left it. But again, on the foliage, these are massive, massive leaves, the biggest strawberry leaves I've ever grown, but they're not putting on much fruit, and I don't know if it's a time of year or what's going on, but it's interesting that we get a lot of leaf production, massive leaves. I mean, I think that's the biggest broccoli leaf I've ever grown. And the head on it was, just about this size. This one I harvested the other day down in there, and this is just a little broccolette right here. But yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and harvest these, rip this out of here, and I will come back with you after I get it kind of torn out and show you how I'm gonna plant it out. All right, so chopped the broccoli, pulled one of the root bases out, and just look at this stalk, just insane. And they're just producing those tiny little heads of broccoli. That's not very typical for, things in my garden. If they grow this big, they produce. If they don't, then they stay real small. So, just kind of curious if anybody knows why they're not producing large fruits. Things aren't fruiting in this bed like the other beds. So, like I said, lots of green, lush foliage, huge leaves, but, not a lot of fruit. So yeah, let me know if you have any ideas. I was thinking maybe do some kind of organic amendment that's more for flowering and fruiting production. A lot of the fertilizer I use is tomato, vegetable, and herb, but it's higher in nitrogen and phosphorus than potassium, and I know potassium's one that's good for flowering. So anyways, get the rest of these out and I'll be back with you. I am pleased to report that I threw about 2 little tubs of red wigglers between each bed, and they are active, alive, and working in here. There's also some ants, roly-polies, so they are definitely go ahead and cover that guy up. They're definitely working in this soil and breaking down this straw and I can see in the top layer it's just dark and rich, and so I don't even need to buy worm castings anymore because I'm creating my own. So, or the worms are creating it for me. So this is awesome. I found some worms in the other bed over there, but I haven't seen them in this bed this year. So I'm glad to see that they're still working in here. And if there's one, there's tons of them. So yeah, I got that ripped out and kind of pulled the straw back so I can get the onions laid out in here, and I'll come back at you when they're all laid out. So all right, so I got most of the onions planted out in here. Got them spaced out, I don't know, 6-7 inches apart. So there's probably 20 or 24 right here. If you want to pause it and count, you can. I'm not going to count. But yeah, this spot, I would go a little further all the way to the edge of the bed, but we got the marigolds right there. I did plant kind of in between them. And then these green onions, they're doing pretty good. So I'm just going to leave them and let these onions come up. And then really I'm just waiting on these, like I said, maybe I didn't say it earlier, but waiting on these runners to root, and then I can sever the little umbilical cords, pull this cage out, and then be able to plant this out. But I'm gonna wait a couple weeks on that. That'll be fine. And then I'll have little baby strawberries to plant elsewhere or give away. So yeah, got the onions planted out, and then I'll walk you over here. Have a few ideas for this bed here. Tons of tomatoes on this guy. Some of the inner growth is starting to die off. I'm a little concerned, but the top growth is amazing and putting on new flowers and new fruits every day. So not too concerned about it, but something to note. Peppers, big old honkin' peppers in there, a couple of them. Some more on the other side. Just put this old painter's tarp up to shade these guys because some of these leaves died off, like I was saying, and I don't want these fruits to get sun scalded in that afternoon sun. So not bad. I mean, it's not the prettiest thing in the world, but you know, you don't see it from the outside. So, and then gonna pull these guys today. I've gotten a few harvests out of them already. Just don't want to waste my time on them anymore. There's few Brussels sprouts down in there, but as you can see, they are just loaded with aphids still, and I don't want to deal with it anymore. I'm tired of the aphids, tired of fighting them. So we're gonna pull these guys, harvest what I can, and then plant some corn in here. So just load this bed out with corn. I think that'll be awesome. Back over here I have little creation. Wait till that plane goes by. They say to hill or mound your watermelon. So I created a little hill back in this corner, ran a little dripper over to it, and planted some watermelon seeds. So probably what I'm gonna do is pull this bush. I'm gonna leave this one because I chopped it way back last year, and it's coming in real nice and has a lot of pretty flowers. I can't remember. This is a Texas something another. But yeah, gonna pull this guy, rip the roots out, and then let the watermelons just take over this corner. Try and turn this backyard into more of a edible garden than a, you know, this bush has been struggling for a couple of years now, so I'm not gonna try and save it. I chopped it way back and it is just ugly and sharp. So yeah, excited for my little watermelon mountain there, and got the beds all planted out. These are my own starts here, my own tomato starts over there. Only thing that's not mine are the flowers, marigolds, and the nasturtiums. So got the sunshade up on these though. And these two, that one's gold medal. Got the black crim back there. They're slowly growing now, but I am happy to report that my starts are doing better than the ones from the nursery, and they went in at the same size, so definitely doing something right here with these plants. So I have the pots in here. These are just what I started them in, and they have the names on them. I'm just waiting till my label tags get here so they wrap around the stalk, so I'll be able to label all these. And this is kind of an experiment. This is just a regular Roma tomato, and then this one's a Roma VF. I don't even know what that stands for, but I'm pretty sure it's more hybridized than this one. So just gonna do a side-by-side with these, same amount of water, nutrients, everything, and see which one does better, and then run them again next year. So trying out a bunch of different varieties, seeing what works and what doesn't. So yeah, but anyways, I'm gonna pull these guys now, and then I'll be back with you when we're planting some corn. So all right, so I've got all of them chopped out. I pulled one root base right now. I'm just gonna show you, try and do this one-handed, how massive the root base on these guys were. Just insane, dude. So grab another one. Just massive. I mean, the whole planter is just full of these roots. So shake these guys out, save my soil, and then probably pull that kale. I just planted those. I'm just gonna let them kind of spill over off the bed. So then we'll do as much corn in here as we can, and then on the edge I want to plant the rest of those onions. So look at this absolutely massive worm that came out of this bed. Just shaking off this root ball here and came up. It either came from this bed underground over here, or just came from the earth itself. Not quite sure, but I didn't add worms to this bed, so this is a good sign though. It's a great sign. And he's got a little ring on him. It looks like he's been through some battles, so we're gonna kind of tuck him off to the side while we amend this, but definitely a good sign to see worms in your soil. So all right, so I got the corn rows all in there, and I went ahead and put each one with the root tip down. So can't see every single one of them, but I'm gonna end up thinning them out. I just want to make sure I get good germination on these, so I don't have to try and plant it out twice, or if one section doesn't fill in, I can pick a few from here and slap them over there, or vice versa. So gonna push these down just a little more. You want them about to your knuckle right there. So I'll just go around and push them down a little bit, cover them up like that. So push it down, whoops, sorry. Push it down, cover it up. Just do it on each one, make sure they're about right at the knuckle right there. So go across, water it in real well, and then on the border here, I'm gonna put, you can see where I kind of staked out my rows, but in this section here, I'm gonna plant the rest of those onions, and we'll see how they do. So hopefully that squash will take off. And then I know I was talking about pulling this bush, but I went ahead and pulled it. So my watermelons will have all this space here to grow out, and then I'll probably just cut them off here. I still gotta leaf blow this and rake it up and clean it all up, but yeah, a little watermelon volcano here. You can see the irrigation gets the top real wet. So I come by every day and hit it with the hose, and my little trench here is nice and moist, so I'm hoping, oh yeah, it's nice and moist down underneath there. This edge is kind of dry, but I'm gonna lay this with straw once they get just a little bigger. I'm just gonna coat this in straw and leave them out. So then I'll soak it, and then eventually it'll just stay moist inside that big old sponge in there. Cross my fingers on that. But I'm gonna get some watermelon this year if it's the last thing I do. So get some watermelon, some corn, some squash, and let that squash just run down. I'm hoping it doesn't cover up this little walkway through here, but we'll see. So got some corn, squash, watermelon. Boom. That is going to conclude the video for today. I'll get the onions planted out, and then I'll update you here in a couple days and give you a little progress report on everything. So thanks for watching.